I took the rental because it made sense. My cousin's wedding was going to last a week, maybe longer if you counted the preparations, and my apartment was nearly 4 hours away. The house was cheap, close enough to walk into town, and isolated in a way that felt peaceful instead of creepy. Northern countryside, pine trees, damp air, gray skies that never quite decided what they wanted to do. I brought my dog with me, a big one. Calm, smart, protective, the kind that notices things before I do. When I unlocked the front door, the house smelled clean. Not freshly cleaned, just empty. Slightly humid, like it had been shut up for a while, but not moldy. The floors were spotless. The furniture was sparse but normal. One floor, a narrow staircase, and an attic ladder in the hallway ceiling. That was it. That was what the owner had told me. My dog walked in, paused, and stopped. He stood at the base of the stairs and wouldn't move. At first, I laughed and tugged his leash. "Come on," I said, "you're fine." He didn't growl, didn't bark, just stood there, head low, nostrils flaring, eyes fixed on the 5th step up the staircase. Not the top, not the bottom. 5 steps up. I checked the stairs myself. Old carpet, worn thin in the center. I lifted the edge. Dust, wood, nothing unusual. No smell I could detect. No sound. Still, my dog wouldn't step past that point. I spent the first day unpacking, letting myself relax. The first floor felt normal, too normal. Sunlight came in through the windows, the kitchen worked, the water ran cold and clear. If there was something wrong with the house, it was hiding well. That night, I noticed a small door under the staircase. It was flush with the wall, painted the same off-white color, almost invisible unless you were looking for it. No handle, just a keyhole. The owner hadn't mentioned it. Curiosity sat heavy in my chest. I knocked once. Nothing. I leaned down and listened. Silence. I crouched and used my phone camera, angling it toward the keyhole. There was a light switch on the wall nearby, labeled "Nothing." I flipped it. Light spilled through the keyhole. I slid my phone closer and checked the screen. Inside was a small room, bare, dry, cream-colored walls, the ceiling slanted sharply, matching the underside of the stairs. No furniture, no boxes, just an empty space that looked prepared, like it was meant to be empty. My dog started barking. Not normal barking, deep, panicked. He backed away, nails scraping the floor. Before I could pull my phone back, something yanked it, hard. The jerk forward nearly slipping from my hand. I gasped and held on, my fingers straining as something on the other side pulled back. There was no sound, no breathing, just force. I pulled harder. It pulled harder. Then the grip vanished. My phone slipped through the keyhole and fell. I heard it hit the floor inside the room. The sound echoed farther than it should have. I didn't grab anything. I didn't lock the door. I just ran. It took 10 minutes to reach the nearest house. 10 minutes of my dog dragging me down the gravel road, ears pinned back, refusing to look behind us. The neighbor let me use her phone. When I called the owner, my voice shook so badly I barely recognized it. I told him everything. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, he said, calmly, "Don't go back inside. I'm coming now. Stay outside." That made it worse. The neighbor frowned when I hung up. "You're the third one," she said.
Third what? Third renter who's come here asking to borrow a phone. Second one said something took his. 30 minutes later, the owner arrived. He brought a ring of keys, a lot of them, each tagged with a red mark or number, except one. That one was rusted. No label. He picked it up last. He didn't speak as he walked past me. My dog growled low in his throat, a sound I'd never heard from him before. The owner paused, glanced down, then kept going. I followed at a distance, stopping at the threshold like he'd warned. The house looked unchanged, calm, ordinary. The owner unlocked the front door and stepped inside alone. I waited outside with the neighbor, watching the windows. Nothing moved, no lights flickered, no shadows crossed the glass. Minutes passed. Then I heard him stop. Not footsteps, silence, the kind that follows when someone realizes something is wrong. He called my name. I stepped just inside the doorway. The air felt heavier now, damp in a way it hadn't before. My dog refused to cross the threshold, pulling back so hard his collar dug into his neck. The owner stood at the base of the stairs, staring at the small door beneath them. "The light's on," he said. "I turned it on earlier," I replied. He shook his head slowly. "No, this one." He pointed. A thin line of yellow light bled out from under the small door. "That switch doesn't power anything anymore. It shouldn't." My stomach dropped. He knelt, hands shaking just slightly now, and slid the rusted key into the lock. It resisted at first, then turned with a dry, cracking sound that echoed up the stairwell. Before opening it, he looked back at me. "If it asks you for anything," he said, quietly, "don't answer." The door opened inward. The room was no longer empty. My phone lay on the floor, screen shattered, camera facing up. The cream walls were still there, but closer now, like the room had shrunk. The air inside shimmered faintly, like heat distortion. And there were marks. Long, dark streaks dragged across the walls, all angled toward the center of the room, toward a shallow indentation in the floor, just big enough for a person to kneel in. The owner didn't step inside. "It doesn't like being seen," he said. "That's why it pulls." "Pulls what?" I whispered. "People," he replied. From the attic above us, something shifted. A soft, careful movement, like weight being redistributed. My dog barked again, once sharp, and the light inside the room snapped off. The small door slammed shut on its own, and behind the staircase, something began to breathe. The breathing wasn't loud. That was the worst part. It was slow, measured, almost polite, like someone trying not to be heard. Each inhale dragged against the inside of the walls, vibrating faintly through the stairs. My dog lost it then, barking and straining so hard I had to brace myself to keep hold of him. The owner backed away from the stairs, face pale. "It's early," he muttered. "It's never this early." "Early for what?" I asked. He didn't answer. Instead, he went to the hallway and pulled down the attic ladder. The wood creaked under his weight as he climbed, carrying a flashlight and another key, this one marked with a red tag. "I told you the house had an attic. I didn't tell you what was kept there." The ladder rattled as he pushed the attic hatch open. The smell hit us first. Dry dust mixed with something sour and old, like damp fabric left too long in a basement. The owner froze halfway up, shining the light around. "It's moved," he said. I felt my stomach twist. Moved from where? He climbed down slowly, never turning his back on the opening. When he reached the floor, his hands were shaking openly now. "There used to be records," he said. "Photos, names, dates, the people who stayed too long." My blood went cold.
stayed too long. Where? He looked at the stairs, at the small door beneath them, then back at me. It needs permission, he said, or weakness. Curiosity works best. The breathing grew louder, not closer, deeper, like it was coming from inside the house itself, traveling through the beams and walls. The small door under the stairs began to vibrate. My phone rang. We all froze. The sound came from inside the house, inside the room under the stairs. The owner swore under his breath. It found your number. Answer it, the neighbor whispered from behind me. No, the owner snapped. That's how it learns your voice. The ringing stopped. For a moment, there was silence again. Then the attic hatch creaked wider. Something shifted above us, slow, deliberate, testing the ladder rung by rung, as if it had learned how weight worked. The owner shoved the rusted key back into the small door's lock. If it gets out of the stairs, he said urgently, this house won't hold it anymore. The door bulged outward. From the other side, something pressed against it. Not hard, just enough to leave the faintest outline. A hand. Too long. Too many joints. It knocked once, and this time it knocked back. The knock echoed through the house, and then came again, closer, higher up. The attic ladder creaked under sudden weight. The owner moved fast, faster than I thought someone his age could. He slammed the rusted key home and twisted with both hands. The lock screamed. The small door shook violently, bowing outward as something on the other side pushed back. It doesn't want the room anymore, he said through clenched teeth. It wants a body. The attic hatch burst open. Something unfolded out of it. Not dropped, not jumped. Unfolded like it had been packed wrong and was correcting itself. Limbs bent where they shouldn't. Its shape kept changing depending on how you looked at it, like your eyes couldn't agree what was real. My dog lunged forward, snarling, teeth bared. The thing froze. It turned its head toward him, slowly, and then it recoiled. Not afraid, annoyed. It doesn't like witnesses, the owner said. Animals know what it is. The pressure against the small door suddenly vanished. The owner let go of the key and grabbed my arm. Run, now. We didn't stop until the road disappeared behind trees and the house was swallowed by distance. The dog didn't look back once. The owner dropped the keys into a ditch and covered them with rocks. All except one, the rusted key. That house will be empty again soon, he said quietly. It always is. I never went back for my phone. 2 days later, while staying with my cousin, I got a notification on my laptop. A missed call. No number. Just a voicemail. It was silent at first. Then I heard breathing. Slow. Careful. And underneath it, the faint sound of a dog growling very far away.